Hey guys, it's back with JohnyTechReview and I hope you guys are doing well. So it has been about 2 or 3 months since I made my last major video since 2024, and I have been using a few little devices. I took a little break and I've been focusing on 2 sets of keyboards. So last year I was talking to 2 companies, but the one I'm gonna focus on today is gonna be the MechLands, which is a company that sells a lot of different type of keyboard, including their own branded one. And today I'm going to talk to you guys about the keyboard called the Vibe75 and the Vibe99, I believe is the name. So I have been using both keyboard now since December. I think it was early December when I received both this unit. So the bigger one is the 99 version. That is the one I've been daily driving a lot more. That one has a numpad. It is a different color. I'll show you guys here the video. I like this little blood and red outline and little gray outline that I have with this version. I really like the scheme of it. And then the other version that I use on my personal desktop, which I use for editing and gaming, is the Vibe75, which is this one right here. And this one here is really cool because I love the color scheme. It's really well designed. I think these are rebrand Ajax or something like this, because I do see the software being very similar. I love these, how well it's built. I think most of these frame is plastic, same thing with the other one. The back, there's a little bit of like metal plate, and in the back here you have some similarity between the two units. USB-C plug-in, and of course you have 3 more. You have the 2.4 dongle, you have Bluetooth, which support up to 3 different devices, and you can switch between them, and of course you have the wire version. All of these are full RGB. They do come with software that you can play with. Again, I'll talk a little software a little bit later down the road. And the distinguished features between the Vibe75 and the 99 is that the 75 that has a little screen, and you can actually switch your screen out to be a little rotary knob, where the Vibe99 has the screen built-in. Again, they use the same software. With that screen you can change functionality, and you can also add a little GIF that you can import from, and show the animation off or show the clock or whatever standard functionality. Again, I've seen this in the other version of the other keyboard like Ajax, have very similar functionality. Actually pretty much the same software with rebranded name, but really cool to see what MechLands is doing here. In terms of the layout, as you can see here, this looks really nice. You can see down, you have all the functionality that you need. I like the fact that it has the function row, which is my style. I use that for work and gaming, and then of course your delete function, your home functions are all here. This layout is really cool. My kid really liked this color scheme also, and he already claimed it if I'm finishing this. So looking at the website for the spec of this keyboard, they call it the creamy switch, and they call it the cream mint switch to be specific. Listen to this. It's very nice and soft, right? The typing experience on this keyboard, first of all, is really good. The engagement and response of the keys are good. Midway down the actuation, you will feel it engage. I haven't had any problem with typing with it. Some of the keyboard I have what we call stutter, or what you call ghosting key, where the key repeat. On these keyboard I didn't see any of those issues, so I'm pretty happy to report these are really nice. Let's take a look at the layout of the bigger version, the bigger brother here. This is the one I'm currently actually using right now. It's on. It's in Bluetooth mode, as you can see. RGB is on reactive because I'm using battery mode. And here, this one has the numpad set up here over here. Works really well also. What I didn't like about this keyboard at first was where they place these key. They have this as page up and page down, and over here they have some of the other functionality, and there was no print screen button, which is something I use quite a lot for work. So what I did is I go ahead and relocate the key and remap in the software, which is pretty easy, and I make that home and delete where I use those keys quite a lot. I move the page up and page down to the corner here. The difference is the key are different height, so that's also something to, if you have other keycap, then it's no problem, but it's different height. But the page up and page down now here in the corner where I use it more now, and then I add the insert and I replace the minus button, which I don't use a lot on the numpad, to be the print screen, and I use a different key here just to remember from another keycap. So in terms of functionality, as you can see, pretty similar. Dongle live in the back here. You have the same thing here, and of course it support Mac and Windows. By the way, I'm always using Windows, so I can't tell you the experience on Mac, but I assume it's a very similar functionality. Again, this one is the same, plastic build quality. Pretty hefty though, with the battery inside of it. And yeah, beside the layout and my usability of it, let's talk a little bit about the software. I'll go into a deep dive segment now so you can look at the actual screenshot and video. Alright guys, this is the software I'm using right now. So in order for you to make configuration changes, you do have to plug in. It cannot be done over Bluetooth. So here in the home screen, if you have multiple keyboards, you can pick it here. See I'm Chinese writing now. You click on this, it will take you here. You have multiple configuration. I'm just using the default one. And here, for example, I have a macro. You can click on a key here, for example, and then pick one of the functionality, including the macro. So these are all the options you have. And here, you can basically reconfigure every key here if you want to do that. If you go down to the macro functionality, these are the macro that you can program and make. Lightning mode, here is a bunch of different ones, and as I'm making changes to these, you can see them make changes on my keyboard. So that way it's easy for you to be able to figure out. And you have a lot of options here. Change color, depends on what kind it is. You can also have the LED off, and that just give you an idea down. If you go down here, you have these animated GIF. You can pick different one, you can import them. So this is the default one currently for this one. But yeah, you can have different one, and I currently have a flashing bee, this one here. That's my default one right now. Yep, it takes I would say, depends on how long your GIF is. This one here was about 15-second GIF, and it takes roughly about 30-40 seconds to upload. So it is a little bit slow, even though it's using USB 3. Under user lighting, I don't use the option a lot, but you can manually make your own little setting where you can have different zone, configure different keys if you want to do that. And of course there is a real-time lighting where you can follow music and pattern here, like this one also. So if it's playing music, you can go here and make changes if you want to. And of course on the setting here, you have some of the other options like language, auto start the software. You have a minute here. Currently it's 5 minutes for the device to go to sleep. You can also do factory reset. For the screen, you can make changes as I mentioned before. However, there's a little LED bar here, and yeah, you can't really make changes to that one. It kind of has its own little behavior, and for me it's function shift key, function right shift key, and it will automatically make circle to different color, but you can't really customize that one. It's just circling to different colors. Overall, this is the takeaway from the software, I would say. Number one, this is basically just an AJAX software or something like this on top of it. The skin looks very similar and the functionality is very similar. Number two, the screen on this, at least the Vibe99 here, the screen itself is not representing of the software. So in the software, you can import a GIF and it will show you that, but when you actually upload it, it's actually get cut out because the screen is like skinnier, right? It's a little bit less width, right? So that's something that to keep in mind. It wasn't a problem on the 75 because I guess it's not a tall screen, it's just a square screen, or yes, it's a tall screen. So that's something to keep in mind. They use the same software, so you can import the same GIF, but of course your output here will be different. So I just have to keep that in mind in terms of the aspect ratio. One other thing I thought it was really nice, it was surprising to me, I was going to complain about it a little bit, was that the macro, I thought this keyboard, because it's not a VIA or QMK keyboard, doesn't have built-in like memory in the what you call the chip to memorize a macro, so that I can't really program like a password or something, so even it works when I'm not connected with using the software. But the reality of it is, when you set up a macro, I don't know how many it will save, but I create a few macro, and when I press save, it actually saves to the keyboard memory. So what that means is when I'm logging into Windows, where Bluetooth just turned on, the software is not running yet, all those macro work, which is great. So that was a pleasant surprise for me. I was gonna complain about it a little bit more like a wish list, but it was very surprising to me that macro worked on this keyboard off the memory. So on battery life, let's talk about that a little bit. On both keyboard, I think they have similar battery size. I did not run a battery test or anything like that, but since I used it in December, initially for the first week or so, I played around with wireless a little bit, but then I plug it in. I've been using it, plug it in. Then I start switching over this month in January. I switched over to using Bluetooth only, and so far in the whole month so far, I have not run out of battery on this bigger size, the 99 keyboard. The 75, I only use it occasionally, like 1 or twice a week, so I don't use it as much because it is on my personal PC. And that one, the battery is also being fine. Battery bar, when you look in Windows, you can see the battery bar. Mine is floating around 70% on that one. On this one, I think it's down to maybe 50% or 40%. So I can say that if you don't leave RGB on all the time, you can probably run this 3 to 4 weeks with no problem. With RGB on, I think it drains a little bit faster, but again, I did not test that fully. Just keep that in mind. Based on my previous experience on other keyboard, it will probably last you 3 to 4 days if you leave it on constantly running. It does go to sleep. There's a sleep timeout functionality. I think it's set for about 30 seconds. You can change that in the software, and I'll show you those. But more or less, it will go to sleep after a while you don't use it. So I think battery-wise, it's not really any concern. It's pretty typical, and you just keep it charged maybe once a week. You should be good, especially if you use a lot of RGB. If you use on reactive mode, not a problem. 3 to 4 weeks, not a problem at all. Alright, so those are some of the highlights and positive and maybe a little bit of features highlight now. Any negative? From my perspective, not really. If customization from out of the box is a problem, then yeah, that's a problem. You only have two choices of color. I saw both the blue and the black version. Those are the only two they offer. Of course, you can buy your own keycap. The switch are all flippables. You can swap all of those, each switch and keycap. Yeah, I didn't have any issues with them. The software are good enough for me to use, and I was surprised the macro was also pretty good. So generally, no latency, no issues there with stirring key. Those are the typical issues I look for in these type of Chinese keyboard, and I didn't run into any of those problems here. So one thing that I would love to see from these companies is that this nice screen that they include in keyboard, it's very limited to the use case of customizing a few things and installing a GIF. It would be awesome to see one of these companies take one of these screens and actually improve the software and allow you to have access to that screen, either through, I don't know, HDMI or just regular being able to put more information on that screen. Maybe system information like my Stream Deck that I'm able to use, show me weather, show me some other cool stuff. So I think that will be, the next iteration. I hope someone is doing that and thinking about that. That will be nice. But right now the screens are pretty limited to functionalities and making a few changes and displaying the pictures of a GIF. Again, I just like to call out MechLands here for sending me these two units to reviews. We talked about it last year around late summer, early fall, and then they finally were able to send it to me in December, and I've been playing around with it for roughly about 2 months now and really enjoy this unit. So I hope you guys like this video and find it informative about these two keyboards that I've been using with my experience. And let me know if you have any question in the comment box down below. Give it a thumb up, subscribe, and stay tuned for more future content. Thank you.